I think I know everybody is worthy of true love, unconditional love, whether you have a child or not, or children. There is somebody for everybody, as my dad always says. There is somebody for everybody. I don't care what you've been through, what you're going through, what your situation looks like, the abuse, the rape, the molestation, whatever it is, you are still worthy of true love. You are still worthy of unconditional love. I don't care what the process looks like. You will become so pure in heart, babe, to where the person who God has for you will find you. Don't question it. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, it's a process. Yes, it gets lonely. But that is why you have to remember who you are. The first question we talked about, who are you? You have to know who you are, babe. What you're worth, and never settle for nothing less than the best. Good morning, guys. I hope I'm in focus. Today, I'm gonna run it with my dad and do I hope I'm in focus. Dang it. Okay. Well, I don't have my glasses on, y'all, so please forgive me. But I'm gonna go out with my dad, and I wanted to show you guys this really cute fragrance that I bought maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's my first ever, I guess, like grown woman fragrance. So I'm super excited about it. And yes, it is the Kate Spade Sparkle. And it smells so good on me, y'all. Like, so good on me. I hope I'm in focus. But, y'all, as women, it's such a good feeling when you can take care of yourself. And, hold on, y'all. Okay, so what I was saying was, it's such a good feeling as a woman when you can take care of yourself and okay, well, when you take care of yourself and you deserve to splurge on yourself, you deserve to treat yourself, you know, you deserve to be a woman and look good and smell good, you know what I'm saying? Isn't she so pretty? The flowers. Oh my goodness. This feels so good. It's the Eau de Parfum Intense. Oh my gosh. Y'all. Look at the bottle. I wish y'all could see it. Like, the camera is not doing it complete justice. Like, oh, what the YouTubers be doing. Oh, she's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait. The lady said, okay, so when I got my fragrance, I was like, how do I spray it? Dang it. She showed me how to do it, but I forgot. Because I haven't used it. Just open it. Oh. Just take the top off, y'all. Just. Okay, so because she's intense, I can do too much. So let me just. Oh my gosh. All right, that's enough. Y'all, this is my scent. Ooh, it smells so good. Ooh, oh my gosh, it smells so good. But yes, one more time, that's my girl. Well, woman, grown woman, period. So I tied my hair down. Oh, it smells so good, y'all. Oh my gosh. Oh, so good. But I tied my hair down, y'all, and put on some gloss and finish up a little bit. It smells so good. Oh my gosh. But I'm gonna spend some time with my dad today, and I think I'm gonna keep these in or change them out. I don't know, but I may record the rest. I may not. I don't know. Oh, you know, let me update y'all on the course. So EKG course is going amazing. Like, I'm really enjoying learning about the heart and just cardio, and I see now why it took so long. Like, my growth years, gap years, I see why, because there's been so much depth that has had to happen and so much growth, and like, it all makes, like, God's plan literally is the best plan. If you're not a believer, you know, okay. But so on my page, you talk about him, period. But like, God's plan really is the best plan for you. And when you stop trying to orchestrate things on your own, when you stop trying to be like perfect, like I had to just a few minutes ago tell myself, you don't have to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to always look the part or this and the third. Just be yourself. Just be you. Be chill, be calm, be cool, collected. And the right people who God has for you will see that light shine through you. And you don't have to sit there and, if you don't want makeup, don't want makeup. If you don't dress a certain way, don't dress a certain way. You know, let the Holy Spirit lead you how he leads you. And period. You know what I mean? Don't even trip about the naysayers or whatever, because it's your journey, it's your growth. And that's what I feel like God's willing, have done and doing, is really grown. And I'm just so super grateful for the process. And I love the woman that I'm becoming. I love the decisions. I love, you know, the wisdom he's giving me, my understanding, how I treat my family, my friends, and just the growth, like the glow. I'm very grateful, and I just love y'all so much. I love what this community is growing into, and I'm just so happy. So I think I'm going to actually finish getting ready on camera with y'all real quick. Or I may come back on when I'm finished taking my, hold on, you know, just hold on. But what I was, yeah, so I'm back here. I had to go get my NYX Fat Lip Oil. Love her so much. Oh my gosh. If you're somebody who doesn't like wearing makeup a lot or not doing too much, just put her on. And that's it. I may put on the NYX Praline on top in just a second to give it a little bit of a little extra like that. But who doesn't love a juicy lip, period? So yeah, like I was saying, y'all, I love the fact that I'm not striving to be perfect anymore. Like, I'm striving to be who I am, who I'm called to be. Those who are drawn to me, they'll be drawn to me. Those who aren't, they just won't. You know what I mean? I'm not looking to please nobody. I'm not looking to be on nobody's roll call. You know what I'm saying? As long as you call the name, which is Christ, I'm good. You know, I don't really, growing up, it was never that kind of party. You know, I didn't desire to be seen in a sense. It was more so, I desired to please people. I was a people pleaser, heavy on that. And recognizing that as a young woman, realizing that that's not very healthy. You know, always giving, or being that person where everyone can run to you, but you can't run to you. Very dangerous thing. And I didn't realize how much it cost until I was sitting there burnt out like a dead battery. And people are still pulling because I'm so used to giving and not saying no in a healthy way. So during these growth years, really understanding that and growing. And my dad and I were talking last night about medicine. This clean? No, not clean. About medicine, and how he was saying that, you know, physicians will come in the room and they're not very hospitable. They're like 26, 27, 24, 23, and they're charting patients, doing the whole nine, but you don't see any growth. You see the degree, but you don't see any growth. You don't see any, I love God a lot, so I talk about him all the time, y'all, so. But you don't see God. You don't see goodness. You know what I mean? You know how you go into a doctor's office and you be like, why did I even come here and pay this copay? If you have insurance, you know, you'd be like, dog. And if you don't, you'd be like, I could have stayed home and took an aspirin and some water or some ginger ale and called it a day. You know what I mean? Because they're not listening. They don't care. They don't want to touch you. And it almost feels like you're bothering them. And I don't know, y'all. Sometimes I feel like that. Even as a pre-med, you know what I'm saying? But that's just kind of me. Like, that's the kind of thing I've been seeing and noticing a lot, is some healthcare professionals will make you feel inadequate or things like that. And funny thing is, we're all going through the same thing. We're all trying to find ourselves. We're all trying to learn. We're all trying to be loved. We all just want to live. But it's that stigma of peer pressure and putting yourself in a box of, I'm just a doctor, or I'm just a physician. And it's like, girl, I'm more than that. And that's what God's been showing me this whole time. I'm more than a doctor. You know what I mean? I can talk to you about multiple things and not go out of style. So, oh yeah, I did a little bun, period. But yeah, just having that realization that, you know, maybe I'll change my earrings, but having that realization that, ooh, that I'm more than meets the eye. I'm not just a pretty face. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it like that, but because I've always kind of been like more personality than anything. So, but being that person where, oh yeah, y'all, these are from Walmart. Yeah. But being that person that hypoallergenic, period. But anyway, being that person that doesn't have to live up to other standards, but live up to my standard and who I am, and not have to change who I am for nobody. So when it's time for me to go into the medical field, like I was telling my dad, I was like, it's to change the world, and it's to do right by people. It's to not necessarily be right in that aspect, but be righteous in what I do. Be right, like do right by people. You see what I'm saying? That's somebody's mama. That's somebody's dad. That's somebody's child. I don't care if they're 80 years old. That's somebody's child. So don't walk in there thinking that you know everything and people can't tell you nothing. Are you dumb? Like, come on, babe. You know what I mean? You're a person. You're a person. These are people. And the one thing about people is we want to be heard. We want to be listened to. And we want people to show us respect. I don't care who you are, what you got going on. What you got going on. You want to be respected and you want to be loved and you want people to love you. So do right by people. Just do right. That looks good. Y'all look good. I hope this camera does me justice. But that's what I was talking to my dad about. I was like, if I would have went into medicine, you know, early on, I would have probably been very arrogant. And I'm not an arrogant person, but you know how when you get a degree, you start acting kind of stank. And you feel like people can't tell you nothing. People are above you and all that other stuff. Shit, I ain't got time for that. I don't have time for it. Let's listen. Let's help these people. Let's get this money and let's live a legacy. You know what I'm saying? I don't have time for the foolishness. Let's take care of people. Let's do right. And let's be the change we want to see. Because, you know, I've been in a situation where I've had to advocate for my family or friends when it comes to healthcare or business or whatever. And because people don't have a heart or a passion for it, or even just courtesy, consideration, you see that gap. You see the gap, and it's really sad. Because when you hear it, you be like, well, dang, who's spitting your coffee? They just came here for a checkup. If you don't want to come to work, don't come to work. But not everyone thinks like that, and it's really sad. But I will make a wonderful impact, and I want everyone to as well. I don't care if you work at a supermarket. You see what I'm saying? Give it your all. Put your heart in it. Put your passion in it, because you never know who's watching. And not to say you're doing it for the recognition of man, but for God, for you. You never know who you're gonna run into. You know what I'm saying? You never know who's gonna grace your presence. And just because you're being good, because you're being who you are, it's gonna shine so bright and just illuminate the room, because that's just who you are. So I learned all that, and I'm learning that just by going through this EKG course, just by leaving graduate school, just by releasing everything and surrendering and saying, God, what's your plan? You know, what do you think is best for me? And when I tell you stress-free, y'all, like, I'm not in the place I was before of trying to make things happen and, you know, make things shake or whatever. Whatever God says, I'm good with it. You know, I'm down for it. I've been doing it my way for a very long time. And, you know, it's time to give him time, period. And as you become more and more aware, wiser, stronger, smarter, you realize that just surrender, give it to him. There's a clip that my mentor sent me, and it was so encouraging, inspiring, and I'll try to include like a little bit of it in the clip later on in the video. But and it'll be in the description box below, so you guys can look at it too for encouragement. But just keeping your head above water and focusing. Just focusing. Don't worry about the naysayers. Be an encourager and have endurance and encourage yourself, worst case, like at the end of the day. And I'm like, even like how I look, I'm like, God, I love how I look. You know, at one point that was something I really struggled with, where I was like, I'm not pretty. Scratch that, sweepstakes. You know what I mean? I'm beautiful. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and so are you. And just having that encouragement every day. I don't care if you put on makeup or not. I don't care if you buy a brand new fragrance or not. You're beautiful because you're beautiful, because of who you are. Without all this, even, you're still that girl. You're still that guy. You know what I mean? You're that woman. You're that man. You're becoming that person. So don't get caught up in the minute things like, oh, I didn't put on a fragrance. Now, if you didn't shower, we need to work on it. I'm just being real, y'all. Because sometimes y'all be trying to, oh, I'm putting on this and the third, and you be like, that you missed something. But, you know, doing the quote unquote bare minimum, just a regular soap and water. You know what I mean? You can smell better than somebody who has no designer fragrance. Why? Because you took out the time. You know, it's not all about physicality. It's about internal. It's your heart. You know, what's your heart looking like? Because that's what's going to smell outwardly. Not in a bad way, but like, you know, people walk up to you and like, oh, you smell so good. And you didn't put on a lick of perfume. That's you, babe. That's your heart. That's your character. Having a sweet aroma, period. So just being you, watering yourself inwardly and then externally with nice perfumes or oils, or for the guys, like a nice little taper fade, if you know what I'm saying, or some waves. I don't know. A little gel. I don't know what y'all be doing. Well, I'm a black woman, so I know what we do, but you know what I'm saying? Whatever you do, how you look good is how you look good. So, you know, that could mean you going out canoeing. That could mean you going out doing pottery. Whatever makes you feel good and makes you happy, do that. So that's just kind of me giving a little tidbit. It's been a minute since y'all saw me. But yeah, I'm glad I'm growing. I'm glad I'm growing and glowing from within and outwardly. And I'm just excited for all that God has in store. And I'm so grateful, and I love y'all so much. And I will see y'all either in the next video or the next clip. So, bye. So I'm actually here at Chick-fil-A. My dad and a couple other men in the community who are pastors, just like preachers and teachers come, and they have breakfast on Saturdays before church. So they're having their little meeting. I'm over here in the corner, and let me say, Chick-fil-A. And oops, hold on, y'all. sorry. Hold on. I got me some Chick-fil-A, and I'm going to actually turn it on, y'all. It's not flattering. I'm just going to journal a little bit, and I got me some a Greek yogurt parfait. I think it's so cute how they have these like little flowers. So cute. And it matches the one in my hand. So yeah, I'm super excited, and I'm gonna catch up with y'all later. Okay.
Oh my goodness, you are different. I'm like, what? I thought the light was changing.
It's changing now, Dad.
Oh. This is what makes me so compelled to come around people, and we don't know that we're bound. We're bound in our own culture. We don't want to let nobody in. We don't want to let our people out. And then when they finally let somebody in, it's strange to everybody else. So you should be taking pictures.
Okay, guys. Hey. So I was talking with my dad, as you guys saw in the clip, and my parents are full of such wisdom, especially, you know, my mom and my dad. Well, I could just say my parents, but when you have that time with your parents, if they're alive, your aunts or uncles or whoever, and they're able to give you sound wisdom and advice, I impede you to listen. Kind of cut it off at this point in the video because it was getting into more like a personal conversation with my dad about relationships and interracial relationships, talking about international mindsets, conversations, pivotal mentalities you need to have when you're learning about someone or getting to know somebody, you know what I mean? And when I was talking with my dad, I was asking him, I said, Dad, do you think that asking a man in your getting to know you stage, dating, but for me it's like getting to know you, dating, courting, the marriage kind of process, but anyway, I was asking him as he was driving, I was like, Dad, do you think that it's a off the wall question to ask what your financial situation is like when you're getting to know somebody? And you guys, let me know in the comment section below, because I really want to learn about relationships and what others have opinions on, as well as kind of solidifying what I've been given and growing in like my word, and just recognizing what God's showing me is relationships, even within myself as a whole. So I asked my dad that, and he said, baby girl, that's a great question to ask. It's a great question because a lot of people have this preconceived notion about relationships, and they don't talk about finances. That's a big deal in a relationship, a healthy or unhealthy one at that. And I think the part about it, even as Christians, we don't have these conversations. We kind of just walk into it like, oh, I love Christ, but that's it. Like, there's no substance to you. Like, you don't have a personality. You don't treat people right. You don't call and check up on people. You are slow to forgive. And it's just a whole lot of back and forth, even if you're not a believer. But the point is, when it comes to a relationship, there need to be boundaries, there need to be parameters, and there need to be margins. So this all starts though with self. That's the biggest thing when it comes to a relationship. And I'm just kind of chit-chatting with y'all, kind of like throwing my thought process out there. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Before you can get into a healthy relationship, I'm just talking from a healthy perspective, from the things I've seen in my life that are unhealthy and somewhat healthy and really healthy. It starts with self-love. And I know, because I used to be one of those people who, if you told me, oh, wait on him when you least expect it, be patient, I used to hate that, because I'm like, what are you talking about? You're on a dating app, you didn't wait. You're looking for people, you didn't wait. You know what I mean? So it was on a one-sided advice. But now that I'm, thank God, a little more mature, I can see where they were coming from in a sense. If Song of Solomon chapter 2 and then in chapter 3 talk about the same thing, where it says my love, like basically I impede you. Do not awaken love before it's time, or her love. And to me, that's a lot of what happens in life. We rush the process. We try to rush in a relationship, rush into a job, rush into becoming a woman, rush into becoming a man, or rush into becoming a millionaire, versus resting in that place of present time and really recognizing and reflecting on what's happening in our lives. Case in point, with my trajectory in life, a lot of it was rushed in my eyesight, but understanding that it was all planned and ordained. The point I'm trying to make is I was rushing to get into medical school, rushing. And then when that rushing resulted in a sudden halt, I realized that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I was able to grow. I was able to learn myself, who I am as a person, what I love, what I don't like. Because for the longest time, when you ask me questions, like I said in a couple videos, people ask me, who am I would tell you, I'm a pre-med, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. Versus, my name is Mikayla. I'm me. I'm from the South. I was born and raised in Florida. On my mom's side, I'm third generation Cuban descent. You know what I'm saying? Like on my dad's side, I'm this. I love pottery. I love painting. I'm a learner of languages. I love. You know what I'm saying? I'm a lover girl. I could be a little tough, but I'm a lover girl. I love documentaries. I love movies. I love sugarcane. You know what I mean? You can talk about you and be passionate about things, and then get to the heart, which is hope. It's love. It's peace. It's kindness. It's gentleness. Like, that's what I aspire to be. You know what I mean? I hope that's what I am forever, and grow gracefully. So that took time. And I'm just now getting to that point where I can say that. But a lot of times we want to rush love or rush the process. So anyway, back to relationships. I was in the bathroom and I was like, you know what? This is a good video conversation. Because at first I was saying, well, these are some questions that I want to ask my man when it's time to date. But I had to recognize, wait a minute. I didn't start the process with a man. I started the process with me. You see what I'm saying? Like, I started the process. What was that? Y'all, my bad. My bad, y'all, because I had the pen there and I forgot I took it out. But anyway, I started the process, y'all, with me. You don't go in a relationship starting on that person and what y'all got going on. Y'all start on each other, then come together. Do you see what I mean? A lot of times we try to rush into a relationship and, oh, if I just found the one, and y'all, I'm not throwing off at nobody. I'm speaking about me. Because I was the kind of person where I thought my man was going to be Prince Charming and come and save me. And you know what I mean? And I was putting all my hope and praise in this man, this person, this idea or idol of what I thought was my Prince Charming. Versus me being like, wait a minute, pause. Cinderella's prince didn't come and get her the first time. He came the second time and found her. The first time, she had to leave her home. She had to be disobedient. She had to go out and chase her dreams. She had to go after what she wanted. And that's a children's story. But that's real life for a lot of us. We're waiting for the right move, the right moment, the right time, the right person, the right place. And it's simply you just jumping out on faith and doing it. Like in Cinderella, the funny thing about wishing is people wish versus actually doing something about it. That's what my favorite fairy godmother Whitney Houston said, the girl. So when you think about it, it's like, wait, instead of me saying I wish, put the paper to the pen, put the pedal to the metal, and let's make it happen. So now it becomes a reality, and not just some dream on your dream board or a vision on your vision board. You actually put it into fruition. And that starts with self. I want to work out and lose weight. That starts with self. I got to go to the gym. I got to start eating better. Do you see what I'm saying? You want healthy love. Okay, well, what about me is not healthy that I'm attracting unhealthy love, or I'm not perceived as having healthy love? These are self things. And you have to work on self before you get in a healthy relationship, or you'll kill the person. You'll kill them mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. You'll just kill them. And people be walking around like walking dead zombies because you killed them. You hurt them, like you almost murdered these people. Being heartbroken makes you like you almost want to die, because that person took a piece of you with them, or your whole heart. And you're sitting here trying to scramble and pick up the pieces. And it's like, could you imagine going person to person to person, having your heart broken in a million pieces, and there's no peace, there's no joy, nobody has yet to come and save you? For me, it was Christ. I'm serious, y'all. I know I talk about him all the time, but he saved my life. My life, y'all. My life. The way I love myself now is totally different from back then. Totally different. And that's to have a relationship that he desires for us, and we should desire for ourselves, is to be so in love with him. So much, in fact, that we love ourselves. A lot of us don't love ourselves. And I know that's a really controversial topic, but if you loved yourself enough, you wouldn't allow people to do you the way you do them. You wouldn't allow those type of things to happen. Now, I'm not saying you can control everything, but some things are self-inflicting. And if we really want a healthy relationship, we got to be real with ourselves. Be real and raw with it. So once we get us together, then we can have the real McCoy. You know what I'm saying? The real Big Daddy, the real thing. So that was just a little tidbit about self-love, right? And self-revelation. For me, with my process, it didn't really manifest until I asked, well, first of all, I surrendered to God. Everything. I was like, God, I'm done. I'm done being in control. I'm done. You see what I'm saying? Surrender, releasing, realizing that it is you that needs working. Yes, other people, but it starts with you first. I was the kind of person, when I prayed, I'd be like, Lord, let them know they're wrong. They did me like this, da, 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 da. And I used to kind of project, even though I was somewhat right, how I was reacting was wrong. My Apostle McCoy, always says this, and I'll never forget it. You could say the right thing at the wrong time, still be dead wrong, still be wrong. So you having an argument with your man or your friend, or family member, and you throwing off at them, right thing, wrong time, so you're wrong. And that takes a lot of self-discipline. It takes a lot of maturing to realize that, ooh, I can't say that. I can't throw off at you like that. That takes a lot of humility too. And a lot of us don't want to be humble. That's a pride thing. You don't want to take the low road. You know what I'm saying? You want to take the high road. And you're not called to do that. You got to be low. You got to be humble. You have to have humility. You have to. If you're talking about being in a healthy relationship, I'm not saying let nobody beat you down or be verbally abusive. I would never say that. But what I'm saying is, when they go low, I don't go high with you, babe. I go low. Not nasty, but I go low. You want to get buck with me? Okay, I'm glad you see it from that perspective. I'll check that. I'll check my perspective next time. Thank you. Not giving them the upper hand. Not giving them time of day. Not giving them my peace or my joy. Because he that angers you controls you. And I'm not playing with you. You see what I'm saying? You have to realize that your peace, who you are, will outshine anybody else. And people want to try to throw you off your game when they see you're leveling up or maturing. So they'll try to throw little jabs at you. And when they realize you're not moved by it, they're like, oh. So again, having that perspective change. Instead of you trying to change people, change you. That's a hard pill to swallow. But you checking yourself and saying, could I have responded a different way? What did I say that was wrong that I could have said in a sweeter way? Do you see what I'm saying? Having these moments of reflecting, and that's super important. So that was a big thing with my journey. And then asking God for wisdom and maturity. Because I'm 26 years old, y'all. I can't be doing what I did at 21 or 19. I was not the best communicator. I will be honest. I was not. I will look at my phone, respond in a mental way, and you wouldn't hear from me for years on end. I thought I was right. Dead wrong. Yes, I'm busy. Yes, I have things to do. But it's a 2-minute text. It's a 20-minute phone call. And that's where time management comes into play. That's where prioritization, organization, that's where compartmentalizing parts of your life and you being like, God, I need the flow. I need balance. I need rest. I was a very hyperactive, I told y'all this before, working. When you really want a healthy relationship, a lot of that comes with surrenderance and humility, saying, I'm willing to go the extra mile with you, not toe to toe, because that's strife and chaos and confusion, but I'm willing to comprehend, hear, and listen. I don't want you to just listen to hear, but I want you to listen to comprehend. So when you're talking to me, you're not talking at me, you're talking to me. You see what I'm saying? So when my man says something, or if I'm telling him something, or I'm talking to family or friends, I don't take it personal. I don't take it personal. Instead, I'm like, okay, is that coming from a place of constructive criticism or chaos? Is that coming from a place of love or a place of jealousy? Do you see what I'm saying? You need discernment to really understand where it's coming from. But anyway, y'all, we can talk about that more on a later day. Like getting deeper and deeper in that, about the self-love and self-improvement and self-realization. If you guys want a video on that, we could talk about it. And then maybe I can answer some of y'all questions about that kind of stuff. We just kind of flow in that and really like harmonize and just come to clarity and consensus about what that process is like. And I want to hear about y'all process too. Like, what all have you all learned in your growth years, growing? Because life is about growth, growing. And like I was telling my dad, like, we grow from glory to glory. We grow with wisdom. The things you did at 40, you don't do at 16. You see what I'm saying? So that's that part. But anyway, that's relationships. So I was, for me, I think it's very important. And I told my best friend this as well. A lot of times when we're talking about dating, it takes people 3 months to figure out you have a sunflower allergy or you're allergic to pork, because we're asking surface level questions. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't care that your favorite color is teal month 3 into talking to you. I've been knew that. You see what I'm saying? Let's get to the nitty gritty. What's your credit score looking like? Do you pay your bills on time? What's your heart like? What's your character? How do you care for people? How do people care for you? When's the last time you hugged your father? When's the last time you and your mom had a confrontation, and how did y'all resolve that? I think for me, the number one question when it comes to getting to know you and then translating to dating is the number one question of, who are you? And how has that transcended into the man you are and the man you're becoming? Look you dead in your face. Who are you, babe? Do you see what I'm saying? As a man, I want to know who you are. What all comes with you. Because if I'm trying to get in alignment with you in a relationship as my man, you're the visionary. You're the direction. I'm going with you. So I got to know where we're going. And where did you come from? And how did you get here to where we're sitting at the dinner table talking? What all do you carry? Is a good question. Don't be afraid to ask that man that question. And fellas, don't be afraid to ask her that question. What all do you carry? Do you carry the burden well, or do you need help with the load? If you carry it well, a lot of times you don't need help. So you don't need to be in a relationship all the time. It's two sides to the coin. There's some people who don't want to be in a relationship because they're too independent. I don't need a man, I don't need a woman. Yes, you do. Everyone needs help. Everyone needs love. Everyone needs support. Healthy support, healthy love, healthy relationship. You see what I'm saying? So I think those 2 questions are a great one to start out with. I was going to say like 7 to 10 questions, but I think I'm going to do like 7 max with y'all, because I want to really gauge y'all with, you know, when you guys are getting to know a guy or the process, what kind of questions do y'all ask? You know, I don't want to hear what you have for lunch. I want to know, are you here longevity wise, and what does long term mean to you? You know what I mean? Like, I think a good question for me after the who are you and then what do you carry is, what's your character like? I'm not trying to figure out the next level of Tetris. Don't get crazy. Character wise, in 3 to 5 words, describe you. I don't want anything physical. Character. I'm joyful. I have endurance. I'm strong. I'm vulnerable. And I'm considerate or concise. Things like that, adjective words. Okay, verbs. Because that can segue into other questions you may have, or can go a different direction as well. For me, family is a very big thing. And as someone who has different levels in my family as far as like what my family requires of me or what I feel I'm obliged to do, my next question would be is describe your family dynamic. And how do you play an active role in being an asset to the family and not a liability? How? That's a long conversation there. I could literally have a whole conversation over dinner about that, because I want to know who you are. What is your heart like, babe? I'm trying to get to know you. You liking teal and you liking Adventure Time, I can get to that later. But let's get to this right now. Because once I know your heart, I know you. I'll learn you don't like mayo on your sandwiches. I'll get that. You see what I'm saying? Oh, my man don't like mashed potatoes. You know, ma'am, no. I can get that once I get to you. But I don't want to hear the mashed potatoes first. I want to hear what's going on with the family. You see what I'm saying, y'all? Y'all got to get to the deeper questions. So from there, that dynamic is big. If you're somebody who doesn't like family, we can't lock. We can't lock in like that. If you love your family, excuse me, too much, that could be a problem. Because that means when you have to make decisions, you'll choose your family over me. And we're one. Then our family. You see what I'm saying? So you have to learn how to have that vulnerability, because that's when people get in confrontation with their in-laws or, you know, friends or things like that. And it just gets very sticky and weird. So that's a good segue question to go from family into like more dynamics like relationships. Because I think that a good question to also ask is, depending on the person, if y'all have talked before or not, what are your views on family? It's a big question. What are your views on family? After hearing about his family dynamic, because you can segue those questions into, well, how do you and your brother relate to each other? What would you rate your relationship on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you guys working on that bond? Your sister, your mom and dad, those are great questions, because a good question would be is, well, like I said, based on that, what are your views on family? Depending on how you grew up can determine whether or not you want a family or not. And I want a family. I want a healthy one. So if you don't want one, we can just, waiter, check please, because I ain't got to sit here and play with you. You see what I'm saying? It's all about intentionality. He could be a great friend, but I'm not looking for a friend. You see what I'm saying? Like, not in that aspect. Do you see what I'm saying? And a big part is you got to know what you want. I did not know what I wanted completely. I knew what I knew surface level-ish. But once you get to learn more about yourself, you learn what are your tics, you learn what are your tacts, you learn what are your boundaries, your parameters, you learn these things. And it's there so you can keep yourself safe, but also for that person to feel safe as well, because it's supposed to be a safe space for both of us, not just one or the other. We're a team. We're not on offense or defense. We're on the same team. Okay? So that's a good thing also. How do you view competition? And do you see yourself as a team player? If so, why? It gives interview questions, but listen, I'm here to get the interview. Okay. You got to know whether or not you want this position or not. Period. So answer accordingly. Be genuine in who you are, because if you're not a team player, I'll know that. I want you to be honest. If he asks me, hey, how do you feel about marriage? I'll say, okay, well, I feel X, Y, and Z about marriage. It's this, that, and the third. You know, I'll go in depth more because it's a more personal topic, or, you know, things like that. But I'll be genuine with my answers because I want authenticity. I want you to be genuine in who you are, because I'm going to be genuine in who I am. Do you see what I mean? Don't go in there trying to play tic-tac-toe with somebody and, you know, well, I said this and they said that. It's not about that. It's about commonalities. It's about learning what differences you all have and building on that. I'm not saying that he's way in Timbuktu and you're way in Florida. That's too different. Do you see what I'm saying? With conversations, it needs to be some middle ground. Okay. It needs to be a lot of building foundational wise. Do you see what I'm saying? That way, when you get in a relationship, you're not having all these different differences and you're clashing. It needs to be harmony. A little bit of yang, a little bit of yin, a little bit of yang. You see what I'm saying? Balance. Period. So anyway, I don't know how many questions that was, but I may do like 2 or 3 more. I don't know, y'all, but I love conversations like this. But I think another good question is, finances. Would you say you're financially literate? And if so, in what areas? Business, real estate, e-commerce, carpentry, what trades? What are you talking about? Do you see what I'm saying? What is your profession? And how has that professionalism translated into your financial portfolio? I want to hear these things. Yeah. And I'm not saying, I'm just learning about this stuff, y'all. So I would never judge a man who says, well, I don't have a financial portfolio. Okay, well, I'm just getting my started so we can talk about it. You see what I'm saying? Learning. I'm not saying y'all go in there with pen and paper and start saying, bum, 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 bum. No. Unless he is, then walk away. But, you know, get that man some grace. You know what I'm saying? Don't let him try you, but give him time. If you don't have half these things done, you can't expect him to completely. Do you see what I'm saying? If you're not Lois Lane, don't expect him to be Superman. That's all I'm saying. Work your way up to that, and then y'all do it together. So I think a good question is the finance question, because depending on how he is with his money can translate into the life you two live together, the life you two are living separately from each other while you're dating and not in a committed relationship or married, and also for your children in the future. If you want to leave a legacy for your kids, is he willing to do that for his? Is he willing to pull in his portion? Because we're a team. It's no 50-50. It's 100-100. Period. 200%. You see what I'm saying? We're giving our all to each other and then our children. So based on his family question, you can dive into the finance question. And as a woman, my biggest question is, what do you expect as a woman who's married to you in a committed relationship to contribute to the household? What would you expect of her? I think a lot of times we get in these relationships and we think, well, I'm a woman, he's going to take care of me. Some men want to do 25-75, bump 50-50. Some men want you to take care of them. Wow. You know, that's a conversation with a different name. But I think that it has to be healthy balance. You can be traditional in a lot of areas, but you also have to be modern in some areas too. And that's why it's so important to have these conversations. Because if he tells you, my wife has to be a housewife, and you know good and doggone well, you're going to get your JD, your MBA, your MD, your DO, your whatever, and you're going to put that degree to use, baby, and you don't want to be a stay-at-home mom or a housewife, you may need to have that conversation and say, hey, I actually am pursuing my education. I want to become a well-trained, well-classified, grade A physician. You know, I want to do this for the world and that, and I want to be a help and things of that nature, and really show your passion. And he doesn't have stars in his eyes looking at you. If he's not willing to accept your dreams and accept who you are, you may need to cut ties and call it a day. a lot of times we try to work with people who are beneath us in a sense of standard and longevity of success. He's good for somebody else, but not you. And that's something that I had to realize. I would have conversation with guys, and when I talk about my dreams or my ambitions or what I wanted to be in life or anything like that, it was a very... But when I talked about theirs, they didn't have anything to say. I'd have to pull it out. Well, what do you want to be in the next few years? Or what are your aspirations? Or what are you doing with yourself right now? You know, what do you like to do in your spare time? Crickets. So another thing that I think is a really great conversation is, what would you rate your style of communication? Poor, fair, good, excellent. And why? What do you mean you're poor at communication? Explain. Listen to comprehend, then to hear. Okay? Because that'll tell you a lot about who they are. When they give you those short-winded answers, cut them off. They're losers. I'm not trying to be evil, but they're losers. I'm not going to sit here and have a conversation. I can have a conversation better with a chocolate chip cookie. You see what I'm saying? Than what I'm having with you. If I wanted to eat and talk to a 6-month-old child, I would have picked up somebody's kid. Do you see what I'm saying? We need to have conversations. I don't have time to play with you. Okay? And I think a part of also getting to know somebody and dating is a little bit of aggression. A little bit. I'm not saying be She-Hulk or Hulk, y'all. I'm saying a little bit. Sir, I just asked you X, Y, and Z. I don't know what's going on. You see what I'm saying? If he starts getting out of pocket, you're derailing. Can we come back to the original conversation, please? Thank you. Y'all, God's working on me, because I used to be very like rah. That's why I kind of like almost winked or whatever. But some conversations, depending on the person and what y'all been through, you just don't have the patience for certain conversations. You see what I'm saying? What you doing, or what you about to do? Sir, I just want to jab you in your throat. I want to punch you in your mouth, your throat, and your solar plex. What do you mean, sir? What I want to do? You're 29. Why are you acting like this? You see what I'm saying? I don't want to go and get a number 6 from Salem's. I'm good on that. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that, though. You got to have more of a standard, ladies. Like, you got to have more standards. Even men, y'all got to have a better standard. I think another question, talking about standards, I think another question is, what is your standard of love? What is your definition of true love and unconditional love? And how do you expect or project to give me the type of love that I can receive it? For me, that stemmed from a lot of, what's your love language? What's your attachment style? And what has your past allowed you to heal from and now project in a healthy way? If, let's say, your attachment style is avoidant, you don't want to be touched, you don't want to be bothered, that can translate as to you being an over-giver. You just give because you want people to see you as who you are, but you're allowing people to fall in love with your hand and not your heart. And that is not healthy. If you're a secure attachment, you may not give at all. Or when you do give, that's like over-giving. That may not be healthy, because a person, he may be avoidant and he may be like, well, babe, you ain't give me no attention. Babe, I just talked to you 20 minutes ago. I want to lay down and be by myself. You see what I'm saying? So having that conversation and then kind of talking about past relationships, I think is very key. I know a lot of people shy away from it, but if we're getting in a relationship, I think it's no more than fair that you give me the opportunity to decide whether I want to be with you or not based on your past. And I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to judge how well I can be with you and treat you because of that. If I know I can't do you right, I will leave. And I'm woman enough to tell you, I don't deserve you. I can't work with you right now because of what I'm currently going through. And I don't want to stunt your growth or process as a young man becoming the man I know you can be. I can admit that. I can admit that. Because a lot of times we'll try to throw off at people and say, well, it's not you, it's me, but it's you almost projecting. Versus a man coming to you, maybe he's not ready for you, or maybe you're not ready for him, saying, hey, I want you, but I just cannot have you right now because of X, Y, and Z. And give them the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Don't just run away. Let them decide if they want to be with you or not. Do you see what I'm saying? Because sometimes they are what you need, and you're what they need. And y'all can grow beautifully like that. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's a good question. And I'm trying to think. Talk about finances. I think finances, again, is a big part. I think also religion. I know a lot of people don't like talking about that. For me, I know people are like, it's relationship. It's also reverence with God. Because relationship, if you don't have a good relationship, you're not going to give God a good relationship. So why would we be in a relationship? You see what I'm saying? So I think a great question to ask is, as far as religion, what are your stances, or what religion do you identify with? Christianity, Catholicism, Buddhist, what do you identify with? And then I think a really good question is, again, this is going back into family. How does that translate into your future family? Are you a firm believer in Christianity? Are you a firm believer in Christ? How do you want that as far as your children to be raised up? What are some things you will include? What are some things you'll exclude? Things like that. I think those are really good questions, because let's say, for example, you're Buddhist, he's Hindu. That may clash. It may not. You could be Episcopalian, he could be Jewish. Whatever floats your boat. But you have to have that conversation, because if you're going and doing a major holiday in your religion and they're doing theirs, y'all may never really see each other during that time. And when let's say you have children, how are you gonna include the kids in that? Because the kids, I don't care who you are, you want your kids to love your God. I don't care who you are. You want your kids to be going to church. You want your kids to be Christian. You want your kids to be baptized. Whatever y'all do, I'm sticking to Christian, because the things that I grew up doing or whatever. So, and still love. So these are their first christening, their first service. Everybody knows after you have a baby, the first time you've been made to church, they have their little cute outfit on, or their suit or whatever. And these are just honorable moments that you'll have forever. So if you're in a relationship with somebody who does not see the beauty in that, or even in your culture, that's a big thing. If you're from two different cultures, because we're talking about interracial relationships, because the religion and race can kind of tie into it together. How do you view interracial relationships when it comes to children? How would that play a part in how we raise our children? Yeah, I know people say, well, they're still children. They're going to need a little more attention than other children, because not only will they look different, they may talk different, they may have a different accent. Yeah, they're your children, but you want them to know that they're special. I don't care, even if they're not, you know what I'm saying, children regardless. I don't care if they're whatever. I'm just saying your children, your child should be special to you, period. I don't care what the race is. I never want that to be misconstrued. I don't care. What I'm saying is, these are children. And as children, they need to know, baby girl, handsome, this is our life. This is your life. And this is what it is. This is what it isn't. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's why a good question is, how would you want to raise your children? If there was somebody who was very abused as a child, or an abusive relationship, whether by parent or whoever, they may not want to discipline their children. They may say, put them in a corner. It depends on your child. It depends on who you're with. These are different parenting styles you'll have to have a conversation with. And, because when you take the kids over to their grandparents' house, they may not do gentle parenting. They may, and that's not what you want sometimes for your kids. So that's a conversation. Talking about the in-laws, do you think that our children will be safe with your relatives, with your family, with my family? These are conversations. Babe, let's talk about family dynamics. Was anyone in your family molested, raped, abused? Who was it? Who was the abuser? Who was abused? I'm not playing with you. You see what I'm saying? Because you're not going to bring our children, my children, our children, in a situation where there's abuse. That's not happening. That's not flying on my watch. No, ma'am. I don't care who it is. Sir, don't play with me. Ma'am, I'm not the one. You see what I'm saying? These are children. These are your kids. And I think that a lot of times we go into a relationship thinking that, well, it's just me. This is a big thing if you're somebody who has a child already. If you have a child, you should be 10 toes down about your children. I don't know what it is with people who have children. Sometimes you will let a blind buck-toothed viper watch your kids, or let somebody who claims they like you let their mom or somebody else watch your kids. What are you doing? That's a conversation. Because a lot of times I think that as single women or as single men, whatever the case may be, you exclude some people who have children from being in your dating portfolio. Not saying portfolio, but who you would date, let me say it like that, and then marry or whatever. I think I know everybody is worthy of true love, unconditional love. Whether you have a child or not, or children, there is somebody for everybody, as my dad always says. There is somebody for everybody. I don't care what you've been through, what you're going through, what your situation looks like, the abuse, the rape, the molestation, whatever it is, you are still worthy of true love. You are still worthy of unconditional love. I don't care what the process looks like. You will become so pure in heart, babe, to where the person who God has for you will find you. Don't question it. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, it's a process. Yes, it gets lonely. But that is why you have to remember who you are. The first question we talked about, who are you? You have to know who you are, babe. What you're worth, and never settle for nothing less than the best. If you wouldn't give it to the person you love, you don't deserve it. Would you get the person you love abuse? No. So why do you think you deserve it? Would you give the person you love a Louis Vuitton bag? Period. You know what I'm saying? Yes, then you deserve that. And always go for more. Healthy. Don't be a hoarder. Don't be a taskmaster. But have healthy love. I hope that this video really helps y'all, because it helped me get off my chest and talk about relationships and just the whole getting to know you process and what to look for, what to talk about, and not to be afraid to cut ties, not cut people off like that, but cut ties when you see that the conversation is going nowhere but left, and you're trying to go right, do the right thing, go the right way. So I want to cry, but I really like this kind of videos. I hope that I can make more, God's willing, and that y'all like it. If you guys want to leave any comments, please be sure to in the description box below. As always, y'all, I want to hear y'all opinion. I want to hear y'all take on it. What are some questions? Leave in the comment section below. What questions do you guys ask when you're on dates? Or what kind of questions do you ask when you're getting to know somebody? I think a good, if you're in a relationship right now, what is a question you should have asked your partner before getting in a relationship with them that would have saved you from this relationship or helped you go farther in your relationship? Do you see what I mean? Give some of us single folks some relationship advice, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.